You are going to take my request, or I'm putting you on Santa's naughty list, and you won't get any presents for Christmas. Not at all. Gonna ruin your Christmas.
Okay. Please do not ruin the most festive time of the year. This has been a crap year, so please don't take Christmas away from me. What do you want me to review for you?
I want you to do Swan Princess Christmas.
Is it a cinematic sensation? Is it a masterpiece of animation? Or a terrible train wreck like Jambareeqi check? If a movie needs an exorcism, he'll smite the demon with criticism. If it deserves attention, he'll give it a heartfelt mention. A strawberry rating 1 to 5. Jambareeqi Reviews.
Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and welcome to this year's Christmas special episode of Jambareeqi Reviews. Let's talk about The Swan Princess. The Swan Princess was a 1994 animated fantasy film directed by Richard Rich, a former director at Disney Animation. It's about a princess who was given a swan transformation curse by an evil sorcerer called Rothbard, and she must break free from this curse with help from the brave Prince Derek and her talking animal friends. I have watched this film and I wasn't that impressed by it. It's just a generic cartoon fairy tale musical, one that tries very hard to copy the Disney formula, which makes it feel like it doesn't have its own unique identity or original style. It also has a romance that's so rushed that it feels like it skips 3 scenes ahead, an unremarkable villain with too many holes in his plan, unnecessary musical numbers, animation that's just okay at best, and annoying comic relief characters. Sure, I get the innocent, cute appeal of it, but personally I think it's average, uninspired, and can understand why it failed at the box office. The film spawned many sequels though, including 2 forgettable and boring hand-drawn films, and a load of computer-animated movies that even hardcore fans seem to despise. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about one of those CGI sequels, The Swan Princess Christmas. Oh boy. In The Swan Princess Christmas, Odette, Derek, their family and their friends are planning to celebrate Christmas with a big stage show at the palace. However, Derek accidentally ends up releasing the ghost of Rothbard, who plans to become human again with help from a cat called Number 9 and his former partner Bridget. Rothbard plans to destroy Christmas because the festive spirit is stronger than his magic. Even for Swan Princess standards, this movie is pretty damn cheesy. I mean, it's basically the story of an all-powerful dark sorcerer versus the Christmas spirit, and it's just as rubbish as it sounds. For most of the movie, Rothbard is floating around in the castle cellar, whining about Christmas and complaining that he's a ghost, while his minions have to do most of the work. Sure, he pops out once or twice, but what does he do? Make people act mean towards each other to kill the festive atmosphere. What is this, the bloody Care Bears movie? While Derek is working out how to defeat Rothbard, he's pretty much on his own as an authority figure. Everyone else is more worried about some stupid Christmas stage show. Odette is more occupied with her Christmas to-do list than working out how to send Rothbard's ghost back to hell. I think that the ghost of a knockoff Jafar should be a bigger priority than getting orphans to stage the nativity play, Odette. Odette doesn't even know that the Christmas spirit weakens Rothbard. All she's aware of is that wind chimes can trap him. That's it. She doesn't discover that Christmas can defeat him until she sings carols to him in the finale. So really, she's not actively trying to defeat Rothbard with these celebration plans. She's just making celebration plans. Heck, Rothbard actually ends up using the stage show's Christmas tree as part of his plan to return human. So really, the show isn't exactly helping. This musical celebration is only in the film so that it can force corny Christmas songs into the narrative. Odette might as well cancel it, warn the public that the ghost of Rothbard is prowling around, and help Derek find a way to send Rothbard back to hell. You know, be a sensible and responsible princess during this time of crisis. I swear that Rothbard transformed Odette's brain into a swan in this film. The subplots are just as unbearable to watch. From Queen Huberta and Rogers arguing and fighting caused by Rothbart's evil spell, to John Bob's insistent desperate bid to get a Christmas kiss. You'd think the finale would compensate for all this filler and padding, but no, not at all. The movie's climax is one big rehash of the first film, just so that the filmmakers can exploit fans' childhood nostalgia, and the characters actually shamelessly point this out.
And that's not the only thing that's going retro, sweetheart.
No. No.
Oh no.
It's deja vu all over again.
So, I'm nostalgic.
Even as someone who isn't that fond of the original Swan Princess movie, I can see why this movie would anger fans of the franchise, as it feels like the filmmakers are just waving their middle fingers around at the audience. I'm going to give 0 points to the content. Odette is a very lovely princess, but she comes off as sickly sweet, as the film really hammers in how selfless and kind she is, like she's some whimsical messiah. Okay, we get it, she's a nice lady, but she's also an idiot for thinking that her Christmas to-do list is more vital than a supernatural threat to the kingdom. Sure, she gets more invested in the Rothbart threat towards the climax, but for most of the movie, she sees Rothbart's ghost as a side project, for mainly her husband to take care of while she has naps and rehearses terrible musical numbers. Derek isn't exactly an interesting or charismatic character, he's just a typical hero prince, but he's the only character who actually seems to be caring about Rothbart's return. For example, when Derek finds out that Rothbart has a weakness to wind chimes because they're so Christmassy, he decides to decorate the entire castle with wind chimes. Although he could have tried harder to stop Rothbart by getting extra assistance, he says that he doesn't seek Huberta and Roger's help because they're under a spell, even though it's apparently totally fine to let Rogers and Huberta help Odette with a stupid Christmas to-do list. So really, they are consciously capable of helping those around them. Yes, having Huberta and Rogers help Odette does snap the two out of the spell, and thus the Christmas cheer returns to them. But once Huberta and Rogers turn back to normal, Derek and Odette don't immediately tell them about Rothbart, when they could really use big help from other authority figures right now. But there's two real reasons why he chooses to keep things quiet. One, so the film can make things harder for our hero to pad the story out into a feature-length narrative, as any assistance would help him defeat Rothbart sooner, and thus the film would be shorter than the filmmakers want. Two, so the whole petty Huberta versus Rogers plotline can keep dragging on without any interruptions, because it's oh so funny watching these twits yelling down each other's throats. It's all very forced storytelling, just so the filmmakers can reach the 80-minute mark. At the end of the day too, Derek is a prince. He can call upon an army or contact an allied kingdom. He's got no excuses to play the lone wolf in all this. Rothbart is a really lousy villain. He barely ever interacts with our heroes and just hangs out in a dreary cellar for 90% of the film. Also, the decision to turn him from a menacing, narcissistic wizard into the bloody Grinch is just plain silly and goes against the whole idea of his character. Watching him being defeated by wind chimes and a swan singing about Christmas is pretty ridiculous and makes him look pathetic as a villain. To be honest, number 9 is actually my favourite character in the film. I mean, it's hard enough to swallow a film as cynical as Swan Princess Christmas, so having a smarmy cat make sarcastic commentary about the idiocy around him is kind of refreshing at points. Huberta and Rogers are absolutely insufferable. The film plays off their childish fighting as comedy gold, when really, their shrieking quarrelling is just aggravatingly painful to put up with. I couldn't have wished for their spell to rub off sooner. Bridget, Rothbart's former partner, who now works for the royal castle, ends up siding with Rothbart. However, she's actually a spy for Prince Derek. Although the film could have at least hinted that she was a spy early on, because the double cross does feel like it comes right out of nowhere. The talking animal characters of Puffin, Jean Bob and Speed have very little to add to the film. They're mainly busy helping Jean Bob get his Christmas kiss, which has fuck all to do with the main story. However, they do defend the Christmas tree from number 9 at one point, and in all honesty, they're actually at their least annoying here. Their obnoxiously hyperactive personalities have been toned down a little, so I did actually tolerate them a bit more here compared to the previous films. I'm going to give 2 points to the characters. It's official, there is no God. No caring and loving Lord Almighty would allow human eyes to see animation this heinous and ugly. Holy shit, this is just disgusting. Where's the love? Where's the effort? Where's the passion? This movie was made in 2012, yet it looks like a Barbie movie from the early 2000s. Characters have boxy and unappealing models, with mouths that barely sync with the dialogue, eyes that look awkwardly crossed half the time, plus hair that bobs and bounces around like everyone's head is having a wig dance party. I honestly felt afraid while watching this film, and I don't mean that in a hyperbolic way. I was genuinely terrified of this movie's animation. Everyone's appearance resembles a demonic robot, and anytime a character looked directly into the camera, my heart actually jumped. These characters are so awfully rendered and poorly animated that they border on horror. I cling to my pillow for most of this film because I was so afraid of what horrendous face or jarring movement would pop up on screen next. None of the character performances can be taken seriously because the animation is either stupidly goofy or disturbingly scary. The only compliment I can give the animation is that at least it looks better than Rap City Street Kids, which isn't exactly saying much. I'm going to give 0 points to the animation. Laura Bailey voices Odette, and I really don't like her take on the character. She sounds too sickly sweet and too high-pitched. It's like listening to someone doing a mocking impression of the original Odette voice.
They're playing our song.
Yeah, those have to be one of Lord Roger's inventions.
And just look at the swans.
Now that's all Mom. Every year she chooses a Christmas theme, and this year it's a Swan Princess Christmas.
Wow, I'm really impressed with your mother.
Ben 10 himself, Yuri Lowenthal, voices Derek, and he does an okay job. He reads his lines fine and dandy. Sure, his character is as boring as grey paint drying really slowly, but he could have added a little charisma.
The royal tree is down there somewhere, Brom. Time to strap on the skis.
Oh, it's time for me to get... Oh.
Don't worry, I'll keep a lookout for... predators. Brom?
Oh, I don't care if predators see me.
But here's the weird thing. Yuri actually also wrote the script for this movie. Yeah! How weird is that? Sean Wright voices Rothbard, and it's a pretty faithful portrayal. However, I've always thought that Rothbard sounded like he was dying from a punctured lung, and Wright's voice is no exception. He still sounds weirdly out of breath.
Oh, now, that's what I call curb appeal. It just screams comfort and luxury in a quiet rural setting. But a little cute for my taste.
David Lodge voices Number 9, and I do really like his dry, smarmy delivery. It really sells the character.
I can force you to work.
And waste your precious power, huh?
Face it.
Management has lost to the common cat.
This is a face you don't want to mess with.
Jennifer Miller voices Uberta, and Joseph Madrano voices Rogers. Both are hamming it up way too much, which makes their arguments even more awful to sit through.
Are you saying you can trick and scam better than me?
I can double your double cross anytime.
Well, I'll see your double of my double cross and raise you a hoodwink.
I'll see your hoodwink and raise you. A bamboozle and a flim-flam.
Catherine Levine voices Bridget, doing a decent job at sounding like a quirky old lady.
Look, it's me.
Rothbart? Oh, you big naughty.
Gosh, I missed you so much.
Bridget missed those days too.
Doug Stone, Clayton James and Gardner Jazz voice all the talking animal characters, and they're kind of okay, I guess. There's nothing really praiseworthy about them. If you're very attached to the first film's voices, then you're not going to like their performances here because they sound very different, but I think they're just okay.
Come on, John Bob, sing along. I'm boycotting, thank you very much. Well, I love Christmas.
Me too. Take it easy and slow down.
I'm going to give 2 points to the voice acting. The original music score for this film is far from anything spectacular and actually quite lousy. It sounds like generic straight-to-video music, lacking in any sense of personality or production value. It just exists in the background, without any ambition beyond making whimsical fodder. But the music is at its worst when characters break out into songs. Oh man, the songs, they are so bad. So bad. Each one tries desperately hard to sound cool, dropping the franchise's usual Broadway style in favor of hip modern pop. This is not only embarrassingly corny, but also drastically dates the film. But the cherry on the cake has to be the sound effects. These sounds are so obviously stock audio clips that it's actually offensive. If you're going to be cheap and not record your own sounds, at least pick a library of high quality sound effects.
Oh, change her back. Oh, you want change, do you? Well...
On second thought, my tennis elbow is really acting up.
I'm going to give 0 points to the music. The Swan Princess Christmas is one of the worst sequels I have ever seen. The bar wasn't exactly set high, but this film actually managed to be more uninspired than its predecessors. It's just a lazy cash grab that takes a recognisable 90s franchise, slaps the word Christmas on it and throws it onto supermarket shelves. It's a disgraceful effort that actually makes the first 3 films look competent and well made in comparison, which is really saying something. I advise that you avoid this Christmas humbug at all costs, whether you're a Swan Princess fan or not. The Swan Princess Christmas has gained 4 points, which translates to 3/4 of a strawberry. If you enjoyed the new Barbie movies, then I think you might like Swan Princess Christmas. I'd just like to point out that the graphics for this video were produced by Toongrin. If you'd like to request commissions from them, here's their website on screen. So, what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews? Well, seeing as it's got... What is this? Looks like a letter. Let's read it.
Dear Jambareeqi, it's Santa here. I just wanted to tell you that I'm really sorry for everything I've done. Forcing you to review shitty Christmas movies every year was an awful thing to do. I recently started attending AA meetings to help me recover from my alcoholism, and I've been relatively sober for a few weeks now. To make up for my atrocious behavior towards you, I made you a powerful strawberry sword. A sword that's so strong that it can break any kind of metal. You name it. Steel, titanium, chromium, and even the rare anti-criticism metal. The sword should arrive in your home after you finish this letter. Merry Christmas, Jambareeqi.
Whoa! Oh, look at this, folks! It's a strawberry sword! How cool and epic is this? Oh, sorry, I completely forgot. So what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews? Well, I'm going to let you folks decide. Yes, that's right, I have left a poll in the description box below. Very excited to find out which film you want me to do next. Cheerio, folks, and a Merry Christmas.